So the first thing we just did, it is Thursday, November 17th. We're starting math. We're doing assignment 5.03. We started out reviewing those three vocabulary words: quotient, dividend, and divisor. And we remembered that the quotient is the answer to a division problem, that the first number you start with, the big number that you're going to divide, the big thing that you're splitting up, is your dividend. And we said you could remember that because it has like a big rear end. So it's the big number. And the number of groups that you're dividing into, or the number of objects in each group, whatever you're dividing by, like if you have 4 cakes, that's your dividend. You're dividing it between 2 people, that's your divisor. And you're getting an answer of 2 cakes each, which is your quotient or answer. Now, today we're working on modeling our division by using big friendly numbers. So when you have a huge division problem, it can be super overwhelming, but we know how to times things by 10 and take out chunks from the number. So really the big strategy here is, instead of trying to figure out how to divide these huge numbers, we're going to make it simpler by taking out big chunks from the number. So if we go to math, and we go to subjects, and we go to modules, and we go to 503, modeling division. Oh, and I think I didn't make you my co-host, but I'll do that right now because then you can let people in for me. Make co-host. Okay, thank you, Kainoa. So here we are on 503, modeling division. And as you can see here, it says that you're going to learn how to do big, huge division problems up to 4 digits. Without remainders, but you're going to be using area models. So if you're anything like me, you're going to be like, what? How am I going to use area models for that? They talk to you here about remembering that multiplication is really the same thing as division. It's just backwards. So here they say solve 42 by 9, draw an area model to help you solve the equation. I'm just going to go to the text version. So here they said use an area model to solve 42 by 9. And they said, here's the solution using math. And then here's the area model. If I split the 40 into 40 and 2, and I say, well, 4 times 9 is 36. So 40 times 9 is 360. And 2 times 9 is 18. Then I line them up according to place value. So making sure that if I had a decimal right here, it would be all lined up. My ones are on top of each other. My tens are on top of each other. And I just add the numbers up. I get 378, okay? That's how I would use an area model to do multiplication. What they're saying is, if you're given the number 378 and you don't want to divide it by 9 or by 42, you can use this same method and take big chunks out. So you can just say, well, what do I know already? I know that 40 times 9 is 360. I'll subtract that from 378, and I only have 18 left, which I know is 2 times 9. So here we go. Division is the inverse operation of multiplication. So let's look at this horrible looking problem. 3,392 divided by 16. Let's have everybody write that number down. So draw a rectangle and write the divisor at the top. So write 16 at the top. Everybody should be doing that right now. Make a rectangle, put 16 at the top. So what we're saying here is, I have no idea how many times 16 goes into 3,392. No idea whatsoever. But I can make 16 into a big chunk. Like I can use something that's a familiar number. So what do they mean by that? Well, I know that I can go 100 times 16 and get 1,600. So in your little thing, I want you to put 100 to the side at the top and write that 100 times 16, which is what they've done in that box, equals 1,600. Okay, so that's step 1, is you make yourself a box, you put the divisor at the top, and you pick a friendly number like 100, you times it by the divisor, get 1,600. So that's what we're doing first. Hopefully everybody has that on paper. Then I'm going to look at my original number, 3392. So I want to write that down, 3392. and I'm going to subtract the 1600 from that. So everybody should be over here on the right-hand side doing some subtraction. So 2 minus 0 is 2, 9 minus 0 is 9, 3 minus 6 I can't do, so I have to cross out the 3 and borrow those 10 and bring them over here and make this 13. 13 minus 6 I can do, that leaves 7, and 2 minus 1 is 1. Now I have 1,792 left. Ooh, I can do it again. I can do the 100 again, can't I? And take out another 1,600. Let's do that. So I'm going to repeat. First, I did the 100 times 16, and I got 1,600. Now I'm going to do it again, 100 more times 16. So I'm going to write the 100 on the left. I'm going to write the 1,600 in the box, which is the 100 times 16. And I'm going to go over on the side, and I'm going to subtract 1,600 from 1,792. And that leaves 192, right? Are you guys following me on this? Yes, no, thumbs up? Is it making sense? All right, so then what you say to yourself is, well, what could I times 16 by that's close to 192? I can't do 100 again because that would be way too big. But I could do 10 times 16 and get 160. So now I'm going to draw onto my model. I'm going to stop my share. So here I go. I've got 100 times 16, 1,600. I subtracted it. 100 times 16, 1,600. I subtracted it. Now I'm going to do 10 times 16. 10 times 16 is 160. And I'm going to subtract that 160 out to see what I have left. So this is like saying 100 groups of 16 is 1,600. 100 more groups of 16 is 1,600. 10 groups of 16 is 160. Oh, I only have 32 left. Ooh, does anybody know how many 16s there are in 32? How many are left over? Anybody? Anybody? I'm going to share my screen again. So 32 is 2 16s. I know that because I know 16 and 16 would be like 10 plus 10 plus 6 plus 6. 10 and 10 is 20, 6 and 6 is 12. 20 and 12 is 32. So 2 more makes 32. Minus 32 means I've used up all of my numbers, no remainder. But how many 16s were there in there? Well, now I have to add up all these numbers on the left, the 100 groups, the 100 groups, the 10 groups, and the 2 groups, and see what I have for a total number of groups of 16. So 100 and 100 is 200, and 10 is 10, and 2 is 2. So 212. 212 groups. 212 times 16 should equal 3392. So I'm going to go to another screen here and use my calculator. Did you know you can just type multiplication problems right into the screen? So I'm going to do 212 times 16 and see what it equals. Oh, there it was, 3392. 3392. Oh, that's right. Check. So when you're done with the problem, you're going to want to check it and make sure that it's correct. So let's go back to our problem. So here we are. If you get to the add, they mean to add up this side to see how many groups there were, 212. And then you're going to solve and check. So let's check. 212 times 16. If you do the multiplication by hand, that's 12. Carry the 1. 1 times 6 is 6. Plus 1 is 7. 2 times 6 is 12. 1272, that's your first partial product. Now you have to do this 1 times 212. You have to remember that's not a 1, it's a 10. So I have to put my 0 in. 1 times 212 is 212. Add it all up, 3392. We've solved it correctly. So that is how they're asking you to do the problems today. When you get to page 6, so I want you to work through the problems carefully. If you don't understand it, I want you to stay with me, but here's the assignment for today. And it is due, is it due today or is it due tomorrow? I'm not sure. Who remembers?
I think tomorrow.
Let's check, shall we? 503, yeah, it's due tomorrow. So you have 2 days to do this one because I really want you to focus on it. I think it's super important. So I want you to work your way through it slowly. But when you get here, they're asking you to do 3 problems. Now, this problem took this much space, you guys. I don't think you're going to be able to fit it in this little area. I would really recommend you do one of 2 things. If you're working on paper, you could turn the page to the side and do it like this. So start up here and work down. I would actually rather you used another piece of paper for each problem and then just take 3 pictures of this problem and this problem and this problem. If I were explaining the steps right now, I would say, and I can't write on this right now, sorry, I don't have my my app open. I would say step number 1, draw a rectangle. Step number 2, take out big chunks of groups of 100, big friendly numbers. Step 3, subtract what you take out from the total. Step 4, add up how many groups you have in the end. And step 5, double check the problem by going back and multiplying to see if you're right. Okay, this last one is a story problem, but really it's just another division problem. Robert says he needs 250 plastic sleeves for his baseball card collection. He has 3,084 baseball cards. Each sleeve holds 12 cards. Do you agree with Robert? Don't be tricked by this first number. This is his guess. This is his answer, but it might not be right. These 2 numbers are the numbers you need. You need to know the total number of baseball cards and how many cards on each page. So if only 12 cards go on each page, how many pages are you going to need to hold 3,084 baseball cards? All right. Probably start out timesing 12 by 100. You'll have 1,200 that you'll take out. And then you'll do that again until you get down to 0 and see, and then add up how many groups you have and see if it's more or less than 250 and if Robert's right. Okay. So 3 problems for your final thing. I'm going to stop my recording